This video, I'll walk through how to do common line cutting with multiple heads. So here we've got a nice part for water-only application, nice long straight edges. That'd be ideal for common line cutting. And of course, if we are going to do common line cutting, we want to make sure that we don't have the outside cut on the part, since that will be applied with the common line cuttings. If you've already put your toolpath on the part and it's got the outside cut, you want to make sure that you delete that at least. You can also delete the inside cuts if you want, but we'll leave those ones on there since they're already there. And we'll go to our nesting tab and do our nesting. Select our part, hit enter, select our sheet, enter. And we've got our quantity. We're going to be doing multiple tools here, 2 heads, dynamic head spacing. We've got the common line cutting turned on. Do our nesting, highlights in red areas that it sees that it's going to be able to do common line cutting. And you'll note here that this part is going to be cut with head 1. And then this part is going to be cut with head 2, which corresponds with this part over here. And it will do a common line cut between these two parts, but it's going to cut this twice. So basically it's not a true common line cut between these two parts here. So let me show you what I mean by that. Let's close out of here. So if I go to my cam tab and toolpath and common. So first of all, when you have a nest like this that has a mixture of cutting with different heads, if I try to do common, so I've got this set to sheet wise and click OK, and I drag a box around the entire sheet, it's going to give me this message here about different tool setups. So if you do have a layout like this, you need to do the common line cut command twice, once for, say, the single head cutting, and then once for the dual head cutting, whichever order you want to do it in. So we'll do toolpath common, and I'll click OK, and I will do my right to left crossing box to make it easier to select those parts. Hit enter. So it puts the common line cutting on the dual head cutting, and then back to the common line cutting command again for the single head cutting. And I'll drag a box like this to get those pieces. And if we set our cut order, so this is all the inside cutting, and then at the end it's got the common line cutting for head 1 and the common line cutting for head 2. And let's do a preview of this. And we'll speed this up a little bit. So it's going to do, pause this, zoom in a little bit. So it's going to go and do all the holes on the sheet first. We'll speed this up a little bit. And then it's going to come and do the common line cutting for the single head. Back this up a little bit. Slow it down. So here you can see it's going to cut along this edge here, and then it will do its head spacing, and then it's going to do our common line cutting on with the dual head. And then it's going to come around, and so it's basically already cut this left edge of this part when it did this edge up here, and then it's coming back down to do this line down the middle here. So in essence, it's cutting that area twice, and then you've also got a situation down here where it's cutting this edge twice. And up here, there's the potential where if your head spacing is not exact, you're either going to have these parts being too far apart and the width isn't going to be right, or they'll be too close and then the parts will be too narrow. So to avoid that, what you should do is, let's backtrack a little bit here. So before you apply your common line cutting up here, we want to give ourselves a little bit more of a gap. So if our head spacing isn't exact, we won't have parts that are dimensionally not correct. So we can do that by going to our Cam tab, and then the part area, we've got the tools icon, can click on that. Shows us what parts are being cut with which head. And if I click on this minimize button here, and then I select these parts, enter. Down here at the bottom prompts us part distance, default distance. I can either accept that or just start typing in a different number. If I want a bigger gap there, we'll do 1/4 inch gap. And you might have seen them move away a little bit. And then in similar fashion, probably want to move these parts up since it's going to be cutting across there twice. So I'm just going to go ahead and select all these parts, do a right crossing box, left click there. And we'll go to our Cam tab. We'll do the move command, base point. We'll just accept that. My ortho button is on. I'm going to move my mouse up in this direction to indicate I want to move that way, and then just type in 0.25. We're in relative mode, so those will have been moved up 1/4 inch. So now we can go back to our toolpath command common and click OK, and we'll do a right to left crossing box, select all those, hit enter, and then can just hit enter to start that common line cut command again. Okay, and drag a box around those pieces, enter, and set our cut order. And take a look at this. That's how you can do common line cutting with multiple heads. If you have any questions, let me know. Thanks.